Welcome back to day two. So today in afternoon session of day two, we have the talk about deep learning for dialogue systems. So it's a hands-on session by Dr. NC Naveen sir from Bangalore. We welcome you, sir, Naveen sir, to this ACT sponsored 5-day online FDP on exploring machine learning and deep learning for natural language processing applications. We welcome you, sir, from Vienna VJIT.
Thank you, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah. So before hand over the session to Naveen, sir, I would like to introduce Dr. NC Naveen, sir, to you. Dr. NC Naveen, sir, currently working as professor and head of the department in CSE, JSS Academy of Technical Education, Bangalore. Sir has completed his PhD from SRM University, Chennai, and his thesis is titled as an analytical approach for real-time intrusion detection using machine learning paradigm. And Dr. NC Naveen sir has published 40 research papers in various international conferences and journals. And sir also have successfully completed a project titled Garbage Segregation System using image processing sponsored under KSCST 43rd Series Student Project, and also awarded Vision Group on Science and Technology VGST grant of 20 lakhs per year under the KFIST Level 1 scheme during 2013 to 14 for the title Hybrid Real-Time Intrusion Detection System. And Dr. NC Naveen completed a project titled Secure and Precise Data in a Cloud for Rural Healthcare Monitoring with Mobility during 2014 to 15 under IEI R&D grant in aid scheme. And Dr. Naveen sir also completed and Dr. Naveen sir successfully completed an industry sponsored project from GE Global Research in collaboration with RVCE on deep learning models for named entity recognition. Sir research interest includes machine learning algorithms, data science, big data analytics, and also he is having industry exposure, working as a corporate trainer for induction batches for Wipro, Tata LXI, SAP Labs, Sabre Holdings, and faculty for MS BITS Pilani. So, with this long list of achievements and glory, I would like to invite Dr. NC Naveen sir to this ATAL FDP a day two afternoon session. Sir, I request you to take over the session.
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and welcome participants for this faculty development program. And yes, definitely, since it is the upcoming research that we are talking about, maybe I do not want to tell that I am trying to teach something. Let us all have a platform that we all share our knowledge, whatever the knowledge that I have related in this specific field, and whatever the work that I have done, and some of the tools that are available for you to start off the work. Those are the things which I would like to emphasize today. And as I was just going through the faculty development program theme, it is exploring our machine learning and deep learning algorithms for applications. So, as all of us, when I was talking to Srinivas, we were discussing what are all the topics that definitely makes our faculty in these specific field and which applications are in demand. And one of the application which I thought personally was the dialogue system, which currently all of us are almost accustomed to this specific devices there. Maybe it would be our Amazon Alexa, or it would be your Google Home, or it would be the smartphones that we are talking about. And related to this, I would like to tell what are all the research that is happening. And since hands-on was required, definitely I'll be giving a demonstration. And since these tools are available on the cloud, reservations are required. And hopefully, once you get your college mail IDs, I request all of you to look into these tools are available, and definitely hope this will help for all the research that we tend to do. See, one thing what we may have to understand, our entire research process is, yes, research is required. We come out with algorithms, we come out or try to enhance the performance or any parameters that are related to algorithms. But somewhere down the line, there has to be some application which demands. Until unless this specific demand, definitely the research, we need to identify applications uh, work with, because that's where I hope our research work will be emphasized more on. Now, to be frank, as we all are going through with this pandemic situations, the demand for writing the applications and enhancing the performance of the algorithms has grown threefold or fourfold. And first of all, again, I would like to thank each one of you, and also for providing me this specific opportunity to share my knowledge to with faculty who are having vast experience. Definitely, I feel we have faculty who are doctorates who are working in this field and have enormous experience. Ma'am, I would like to share my screen now.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. You can go
Yeah,
on with, sir.
thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is it
And
visible?
yeah, sir, it is visible, but something is wrong with your internet connection, sir. Your voice is breaking up.
Is it now?
Yeah, now okay, but before that, your voice is breaked up, sir. So now it's okay, sir.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming to the outline, as I said, now is it okay, ma'am?
Yeah, please continue, sir. If anything is noisy, that I'll just inform to you, sir.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So we will have an introduction and identify why these dialogue systems are required, what are the background knowledge that we need to know, and what is the complete procedure that goes through with this specific dialogue system building, and maybe the recent trends of our dialogues. This would be the outline. And if all of us have seen, this is the brief history of our dialogue systems. We started off with this multimodal systems, and maybe your pocket PC or whatever it is. Then somewhere down the line, out with the speech work, where there was something like text to speech and speech to text applications, and a lot of research started happening in our 1990s. And slowly, as you have seen, now if we see, we are into VPAs, which are nothing but as virtual personal assistants. Now it would be the Google Maps that we are using, or it would Alexa, Google Home, whatnot. Now, what is we are looking for is, rather than me typing something, can I go for a dialogue system? This is what we are interested in right now. Now, this is what, as I said, we have Apple Siri, then we have Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, Facebook, Bot, Google Home, HomePod, Microsoft from Microsoft Cortana, and if you just see the companies which are working through, definitely yes, these are the leaders, and this is where I hope we get a lot of KPIs where we can start our applications that can be built on for a dialogue system, and definitely explain you more why exactly we need. It is only that we need to have our get things done. We need to have our alarm set, reminders that needs to come, and maybe if I can take a note of what I am talking about, that is what we require now. And coming to our data, I do not to deal with what type of data we are talking about. Any data that you are trying to give, is it possible to access, get information, or get knowledge out of it, and assist in your daily schedule and routine, more productive in managing your work and personal life. Now, if you just see all these questions that we are trying to do, we are trying to balance our work and personal life. It is not that we are just using these devices for the passion nowadays. We are getting used to this so that there is a balance in our work and our personal life. Now, coming to our natural language, and to be frank, this is where I just want to emphasize everyone. A lot of research is happening in our natural language processing, NLP, which means to say, we talk about English. Lot of work has happened. The same thing if we want to do it with our local languages, then the problem statement or research work that we tend to do, there is the one where we have of scope. Now coming to our the global digital statistics, if you just look into in the year 2020, you can just see the active mobile users have gone 2.96 billion, which is almost 17% more. Now, what is I need to do is, can I make my devices learn and evolve, which can speak and give me the details what I need. And to be frank, if you just see these ideas, thoughts, maybe it would have evolved from our Iron Man movie, because Jarvis, as all of us know, I don't know how many of you are fond of looking into this Marvel's movie, and this is where these ideas of machines which can understand and depict what exactly we need, and coming up with a spoken dialogue system, which we normally call as, yes. What is this SDS? Nothing but they're all intelligent agents that are capable to use finished tasks more efficient via spoken interactions. Now, just think over the last 2 years what has happened with this pandemic. It has taught so much. It has taught us so much right now. Most of the technologies that we are talking about, it was teaching learning process or tools and techniques that we are trying to use, it has gone beyond our imaginations. When I speak about this, it would be the videos that we are looking for, or the materials that as a faculty that we have shared with students, and maybe at the last everywhere we have a challenge of assessment. When we are talking about this entire process, my simple request to everyone, or my demand to everyone is, can you come out with the SDS for the entire faculty student relation with assessment? Nowhere I should type anything. Let everything become spoken as we do in regular classes. It is not so easy. Maybe in English, if you're talking about the current tools and techniques, models, the machine learning models that are available, and maybe the hardware that is available, this is giving us the facility to go and have this, as you can see, a very good dialogue system which can assist users to access information conveniently and finish your tasks efficiently. So if you just see here, I have 2 points. One is it should be at my convenience and it should do it efficiently. And this is where the entire challenge comes. All of us are using bots. Difference you can see on the screen. Previously, it was just happening with our GUI designs. I used to select something, then do all those. Now it is not at all required. You just talk. You just keep talking to them. This is how it comes up. You just keep talking to that device. It starts giving you answers depending on what is being learned. The question comes, when I say is depicting what is being learned, the machine learning algorithm comes into picture. Which machine learning algorithms are pretty good? Now, as you have seen, the deep learning models are pretty good. They're taking over for almost all the applications that we are talking about. And that is why I think we all are more working towards this specific deep learning models. Now, coming to your GUI and conversational UI. Conversational UI is the one, maybe you can also call it as conversational AI. the artificial intelligence, either because it is not only the user interface that you tend to give, the time we have a lot of interaction, we tend to make our system learn and respond to what we are talking about. Maybe it would be the situation, it is what you can see. Normally used to navigate earlier, now you can go for searching. Now coming to your information precision, previously it was low, now it is high. To the interfaces, we are talking about the languages, the learning. I can say the learning that was happening earlier, it was adapting to the changes that were happening and it used to learn. Now you need not learn, you start predicting, you start predicting, you start giving the answers as and when it comes. Maybe at the last, if you see, it should be in a very flexible manner. Highlight with the human. This is what is the example that I took. Can I have an interaction with my specific students with conversational like human and make sure that the entire cycle is completed? Typically, if you come to our conversational agents, we call it as task oriented. We call it as task oriented. Let me just come to that and then come back. The task oriented dialogue system that was given from Young in the year 2000, it looks something like this. You will have either a text input or a speech. When it is a speech signal, you recognize the speech, understand the language that you are talking about, and you go for domain identification. We will see what this domain identification is and what exactly the user is intended to do. User intent detection. Then there are some parameters here, slot filling, where I need to fill the gaps that are there. Then go ahead with dialogue management. In the dialogue management, we have your NLG, the natural language generation, where we just generate this natural for you and give it for dialogue applications. Now, going back, what are all the challenges that I have? As I initially started off, when I speak about the local languages in India, then the challenge is too much. The ability that I am having, if you are working always with English, everything is fair enough. It should be robust. Again, coming to our ML, we have a call and precision trade-off. The meaning representation. Many of the times, the meaning representation is the one which is another challenge that we are having, where we have to go with the ambiguity. Lot of the time, we get into ambiguous situation. These ambiguous situation, we need ability to learn. The system should be able to learn and have a transparency. These are some of the challenges what we are having in the current dialogue system designs. Coming to the next one by one, if you are seeing here, first we will see the interaction example. Assume that I want to find a good eating place for Indian food. Now, your system should immediately answer. This is what we are looking for. The intelligent agent should tell me a good Indian eating places include the Bombay Canteen or a Boiling Pointer. What do you want to choose? Help you go there. Which means to say, the system is not just asking you or answering you. It will keep asking you more and more. Now, theory or my theory looks good for us, but will this specific dialogue system process the entire request? Is it so easy? This is where I think about the first. You have to talk about the domain identification. When I say that I want to find a good eating place for Indian food, there are a lot of databases that are available. And as all of us know, it's always in a organized manner. We have a restaurant database, we have a taxi database, you might have a movie database, you might have XYZ databases available. First of all, find out the domain what interests you. This is what we the domain identification, the domain ontology. Once he gives this, nowhere he is saying he is interested in restaurants, first of all. With the question that he is putting, food coming up, I should think that you are talking about the domain restaurant. When you are talking about the restaurant, maybe a simple query would look like something like this: find restaurant. But are you only interested with only finding restaurant, or are you interested with maybe I can say South Indian food or a North Indian food, or are you talking about a specific price range? Now this is where the challenge comes. And once you go for an interactive session, typically talking about an interactive session, you have to go for an interactive session where the intelligent agent will keep you asking questions, and as and when you start giving the answers, it starts fine tuning. And sometimes what happens, we may have to go for slot filling. Maybe something like this, as you can see, where we are writing it as good and Indian food, because we are finding a good eating place for Indian food. Maybe a slot that I want to fill is, are you not interested with time? Maybe you are interested with good Indian food. Are you not interested with the place? Are you not interested with the time? Are you not interested with the date? These are called as slot fillings. What we will do here, as you can see, maybe again, I will just go further and come back. Yeah. Yeah. Then I will just fill up that, come out with the semantic frame. See, if you are seeing here in the database, it is nothing but a normal query that we write. Find all the restaurants where the rating is and the type is Indian. Maybe if you give me the date and time, that also I will try to fill it up. This is what I was talking about. Want to track this data also. Maybe when I say that I want to have a good eating place for Indian food, is it near your office? Then through your GPS, get your exact location, find those locations. This is what your intelligent agent has to do. Now, when you are doing this, you have to start tracking, neglect all parameters which are of not interest, and fine tune to what exactly you need. This is what we are talking about. Handle your errors and confidence. Handle your errors and confidence. Go on asking questions. Once you fine tune, then the system will start answering. This is what maybe your agent action has given. Something like inform location. The nearest one is Bangalore, I will say. And it will ask, where is your location? Once I give my location, do you want an Indian food? Once I confirm, because the agent will go for a interactive session. As and when you keep answering this, then immediately the system will give you the answers. Maybe the output something like NG. This is what we call as the natural language generation. See, when I am giving a natural language generation, it is something you cannot just give this as is. You have to frame a sentence out of it. You have to frame a sentence out of it and give me the actual answer, something like this. Good Indian eating places, because if I just give good Indian eating places include the Bombay canteen and stop at that stage, then what next? And if you see in the query, what has happened is I just got an answer as Bombay canteen, nothing more than that. What we call as natural language generation. It is not only that you need an answer for what you are looking for, how will you go for generating this specific natural language where the user can keep answering your question? It is something like the way how you want to ask any questions related to the session that is happening. The same way. Now, come to the background knowledge, what exactly is required. I don't think I have in detail with this. If it is definitely required, let us discuss at the last. Let's to look for a function. One is a speech recognition. Are you talking about speech recognition? I'll give a speech. You have to tell what it is. I'll give an email. Find the function what exactly you need and tell it is a cat. If you are playing, what should be the next move? If I'm talking about a chatbot, where is Vijaynagar? If I say the address is, it should say, give me the answer. Given a large amount of data, the machine learns function f should be, because as you are seeing the data that is being sparse, that is available to us currently, it is too much unstructured. I really don't know whether what type of data you are trying to give me. This I think I will just skip, because introduction is already being given. Learning is nothing but a type of ML approach, but specifically on neural networks. Just to brush through, yes, we have inputs with a single neuron. The bias is given, the weights are adjusted. We will have an activation function like your sigmoid, tanh, ReLU, whatever it is. Then once I have the specific activation function, you give me the output with a single neuron. This might become a single neuron can only handle binary classification. It would be something like this 2, y should be greater than to 0.5, not 2 if it is less than 5, something like this. Now, coming to a layer of neurons, we just go on adding a layer of neurons which handle multiple power output, and the result depends on the maximum one. Something like this. Y1 1 or not, Y2 is again 2 or not, Y3 is 2 or not, depending on which is actually giving you the maximum value, the output that is being given to you. Coming to our DNN, I will have fully connected feed forward network. We will have multiple feed forward networks in our DNN. Now, this specific background knowledge is required. I request all of you to go through that. Apart from that, we have this reinforcement learning. Now, in the reinforcement learning, as all of us know, there is an action. For every action, an observation is made and a reward is given to you. I hope this also would be covered in the due course of time. The reinforcement, normally when we are game applications, reinforcement learning comes handy. You check the action, go on giving the rewards. Success is measured by a reward signal. The goal is nothing but select all actions which will maximize the future reward. This is what you are observing. Action next move. If when reward is 1, if it is loss, reward is -1. Otherwise, the reward is 0. This is what we are talking about. A value is given. Every time the reward is given, you just go back, check whether it is maximize the expected reward or not. Coming to our supervised and reinforcement, maybe in a supervised, we need learning from teacher, and this is learning from critics, which means to say people keep giving you, the system will keep learning from whatever has been collected for. Now, coming to your sequential decision making, the goal is select actions to maximize total future reward, which means to say the reward that you are getting, it should be in a gain mode. That's what it is. Now, what people did is they went for deep reinforcement learning. They had the both combined with deep learning and reinforcement learning. We can deep reinforcement learning, and this we use to pick up the best function that we are talking about. This is how it comes up. Start from a state, use an action, you keep continuing. The total reward, maybe if time permits at last, we will try to solve this reinforcement learning. Only thing is, select the actions which will maximize the total reward. So this, when we are talking about the next challenge that we get is nothing but the language understanding. Language understanding, we finished with domain classification, intent classification, and slot filling. Now, coming to your domain and intent classification, you can just see here. Find cheap Chinese restaurant in Oakland. Now, when we are talking this, you can just see the place, and I am also talking about restaurants, and I am also talking about Taiwanese. Correct? Now, when we are having this, you just go for checking where exactly we are talking about with your domain and intent, what exactly you want to do. Now, this I will just skip. This is what I was talking about. Flights from Delhi to Mumbai today, when you are giving, I had to fill something like today date. This is what we call as slot fill. Now, coming to the this is your state tracking. See, coming to our state tracking, what exactly when we are talking about that state tracking is, we have to maintain a probabilistic distribution instead of a one best prediction for better robustness. What do we mean by this? When epochs are in your ML, in my turn one, I would have got these two. Kind as 0.5, Android as 0.3. Now, if you are seeing here, Android is having both in turn 1 and turn 2 as the same value. But kind and node, the difference. Now, if I always go for one best prediction, maybe in turn 1 I will say 0.5, and maybe in turn 2 I will say 0.4. Maybe there are chances both are incorrect. What is that we have to do in this? You just have more number of epochs, go on iterating and get me the maximum value what we are talking about. Coming to this tracking, as you can see, how is that you are fine tuning is, we have to go on more and more queries or more and more questions, and as and when asking more questions, there are chances that most of your ambiguous input that we are talking about, that gets reduced, that keeps reducing. Okay, this is sequential language understanding. The more you are learning, the reduction in your ambiguity. Now, coming to my multi-dialect stat tracking, one is we were talking about only one domain initially. Later on, I gave of a restaurant, a place, and maybe date, time, movies. What exactly we mean is, there are chances that my system should work with multi-domain. It need not be on only one domain. When it becomes multi-domain, then again it becomes another challenging task. We want to develop dialogue system. This is how you have to again go with what you call queries, try to fine tune, come to one specific goal. Yeah, this I'll just, which is not required. And coming to our specific challenges, I just want all of you to note down. See, these are some of the challenges which have been posted. Normally, when we are working on dialogue state, the DST challenges every year or every 6 months, they keep giving it. You can just have a look, and please try to take up these challenges so that you can work more and understand better. Now, this is what the last is optimizing. Because this theory, why I am a bit fast is, this dialogue system all of us are using. It is not that it is out of the box which you do not know. In this dialogue policy optimization, what we want to do is, when we are giving this specific to the user, it should be an optimal dialogue policy. What is that? It should maximize the future reward, because the questions also should not be vague. When you're talking about a restaurant, if you ask place, it makes sense. Maybe immediately if you start asking related to whether you want to go by car, you want to go by walk. Sometimes what happens is, there are chances that the queries or the questions that have been these dialogue system, that may not be good enough, or that may not give you a future reward which is always better. That is another challenge which all of us will look into when we are talking about reward. When we are talking about this reward, make sure that the ratings are corrected, appropriate, and adequate. What is this? When we are talking about some rating for a movie, make sure that the user ratings and your expert rating are coming within the well within range what you are talking about, so that your evaluation of the system becomes appropriate. Otherwise, again, you will be in trouble. Now, this I will just skip multi-domain. This I said because when you are traveling a plan, you can look here. We need a database of hotel. We need database of flight. We need database of restaurant. We need the database of the local travel also, whether it would be bus. This is what I was talking about a multi-domain when we are talking about a simple dialogue system which you want to develop for a travel planning. The last, the NLG, as I was said, if you can see here, mapping dialogue act into natural language. I told you about this because when we get an answer saying that 7 days and food type is Chinese, how will you generate 7 days is a nice Chinese restaurant? That is how you have to generate the natural language. Now, typically, just come back as a thing, maybe next few minutes will be demonstrating and again ask you to, if possible and if time permits, you can just register and start working with it. We will see how much time we will have. Now, if you just see here, the semantic frame and the natural language that you are talking about is something like this. You confirm. Please tell me more about the product you are looking for. You get the confirmation. Do you want somewhere in the specific location? Do you want a specific restaurant? Do you want a specific restaurant in a specific area? And when you are going for this rules and map all the frames, the natural language generation can be done. Now, the last is this handling your semantic repetition. Semantic repetition is something where we have this. If you see the first two, is a great Taiwanese restaurant that serves Taiwanese. It is a child-friendly restaurant and also allows kids. Now, somewhere down the line, I have to relate these two and make sure that the restaurant that you are talking about is a good restaurant which is serving your food with children who are allowed. Getting the semantic is another challenge which always face when we are developing a specific dialogue system. Now, the last is how is that we are evaluating this specific dialogue system? What are all the procedures, like the way how we have precision recall and all? We have dialogue model evaluation with your crowdsourcing or with your simulators, which is what is your user simulator. What is the response generator evaluation is word overlap metrics or embedding based metrics. What is this? The word overlap metrics is when we speak, there are chances that there will be overlapping of our words. How will you understand that? And how will you go for dialogue? Some examples are being given here. Maybe after I share it with you, definitely it will help you in understanding what this evaluation methods are. And coming to our simulation, as I said, we will generate natural and reasonable conversations which enable reinforcement learning for exploring the policy space, which means to say you will have a dialogue corpus, have a simulated user, make it understand, check whether the answers or the questions that are coming up are proper or not. Now, if you just see how exactly it comes, most of the time we either get an XML or we go for a JSON, the JSON format or an Excel format, because these are the one which makes the understanding and simulation useful. Okay. Now coming to the last, we'll just see. Yeah, I think all of you are aware of the diagram models, because when I speak about a review of a movie, if I say good, you give a thumbs up. I can also say it is not good. Then it becomes 2 grams. I can say it is pathetically bad. The words that I keep using, you have to understand and make sure that you are making it sense to what has been relevant to the dialogue that you are talking about. Now, this is what I talking about the measures, the understandability, whether the values specified by users understood by the system. Because if you're generating a dialogue system for a movie, and if I start asking questions on a restaurant, then definitely it will not be able to understand. And what is the agreement percentage of a system and user understanding over the entire average all turns and the efficiency? I think we have seen the number of turns. The more questions that you are asking, then definitely the user gets frustrated. So, if you want to make your system initially understand more, the large number of questions would be better. But as you progress through, the lesser is the better, because you have to understand better more as the interaction happens, so that the answers are given to the user in a faster manner. The last, the appropriateness, which is an explicit confirmation for an uncertain user occurrence in an appropriate system action, which means to say, when you are talking about the dialogue system, there are chances that the user will respond in a very inappropriate manner. And will your system understand that? Now, what that you should not evaluate is specific and if you have seen, the chatbots are which we are using specifically, and it is very much crucial for task-oriented tasks. The metrics is as I something like this, overlap metrics, and embedding your on target and the candidate. Now, coming back to the last, what I want to tell you is we will come back later to the first one. Now, one second. Yeah. Before this, what I want to show you is one of the assistive technology that was being built from our students for visually impaired using ML and IoT. We have used both machine learning and IoT devices. The main aim of the specific project, it should assist for visually impaired. So what it does is it will have an let me just tell you the proposed system, what exactly it does. It is actually performing three tasks. It will use our ultrasonic sensor, and actually we have used our Raspberry Pi. It finds distance to the closest object and informs the user the same in form of forms. So this, I think, by now we have seen a lot of shoes have come for this visually impaired. So an UV ultrasonic sensor is kept, and by chance if there is an obstruction, immediately it sends an alarm. In our case, what we have done is it is the system is trained and it will tell in a louder voice that there is an obstacle coming up. And since they are visually impaired, if they want to learn something, what we can do is we are actually scanning a document, and after we scan a document, it will read. That I will just give a demonstration now how exactly it is could be done, and how it is stored in a text file and converted to speech and text. This is one project which we had done, and actually this was sponsored from our Karnataka government for these students and well appreciated. It was a UG project that students have done. Why I am emphasizing this is I want all of you to look into the tools and techniques that are available. Definitely, my 45 minutes of session that went through now, this is basic, which all of us know. In a dialogue system, the input is the output as this. What are available, which I will be showing now. See here, yeah, we will maybe the other challenge. Let me just finish off this and then come back to the tools. Some of the recent trend is having a chit chat hierarchical sequence to sequence. This is one because, with the less data, how you can learn and utter the representation. Sometimes what is happening is there are a lot of questions which have been asked in this manner. The dialogue breadth we normally call. The dialogue breadth are, if you can see, the questions that are coming are so vague. One is I am feeling sad. I got a cold and what should I do? And somebody is saying that tell me a joke. And what is influenza? Now, if you see here, will you go for a single system? Will you go for an extended system? Or will you go for a multi-domain system? Normally, when you are talking about the current dialogue systems, most of them are on our multi-domain system only. And the next challenge is our empathy. The high level intention may span several domains because if you see here, when we are talking about what has been asked, schedule a lunch with Vivan. Now, it is not easy for just scheduling a lunch with Vivan. You have to look into what exactly is important, which food, location, the contact, send messages, and make that person available for a meeting. Now, this is another one which most of the people are doing now. Most probably in your universities or colleges, also students would be doing. Because of this 2 years pandemic, a lot of people have mental stress. Now, how will you go for identifying their stress? That is what we are talking about, the emotion aware responses. To be frank, in NIMHANS and all, right now we are getting a lot of requests from doctors, and they have also said very teenagers, they are being stressed. It is not only teenagers now, maybe the parents or the family, because of the stress that they are getting, many of them are going for a depression. Now, what is that we should do? One project which one doctor has told us is assume that I am very much fond of my father. There are a lot of speech or videos that are available from my father. By any chance, if I am under depression, if I am just listen to the voice of my father, maybe my level of depression would come down. In this case, what they are trying to do is they are trying to map. It is something like if I am not having or if I have lost my father during this corona period, there are chances that it gives a speech in the voice of my father so that my depression level will come down. Now, these are some of the what do you call upcoming technologies that are happening right now. And to be frank, doctors and many of the NGOs also, because when we go to old age homes, they're actually missing their uh, maybe their son or daughter because they stay away. And every time you cannot go on calling them or come for video conference. What we do is generate a sequence so that it becomes a dialogue system for our old age, so that they feel that they are talking to their, and this is the requirement. And most of research scholars and also students, we are working for coming out of this. Emotion recognizer, I think much of the work has been done. To be frank, if you are talking about image and all, lot of work has been done. If you give me an image, emotion recognition can be done with an image. But what I'm talking is, can you generate a dialogue system so that the user will feel good? Now, this is another one, visual object displayed by our dialogues. Now, is it a person? Is no. Is it an item being worn on held? Yes. Is it a snowboard? Says yes. This typically, if you go for our agriculture applications, there is a lot of demand. There is a lot of demand with discovery via dialogues. If you see here, it says, is it a cow? It says yes. Is it big cow in the middle? It says no. Is the cow on the left? First cow near us? Yes. What this tells me is it will just tell what exactly is happening with my cows, and I can go for a dialogue system with interaction. This is what is required. So before I concluding, what I can tell you is very first, what I want all of you to try is the very first is a dialogue flow. I don't know how many of you have used this. Can you put your thoughts in the chat so that I will know how many of you have used the dialogue flow, or have you heard of it? Yes or no? Hello.
Yeah, they are saying no, sir. In
Yeah.
chat window, they are, yeah.
So this is from Google. So with your specific Google account only, it is possible to have this account for dialogue flow. You can see here, it is an NLP understanding platform, makes it easy to design and integrate a conversational user interface into your mobile web app or a device or a bot, interactive what not. And this is given free, but only thing is to give you a credit card. So let us understand one more thing. Coming to our research, yes, we can do our research. Write my own Python code, write my own application. If you see the entire deep learning model and the infrastructure that is required, doing everything is really somewhere down the line we have to depend on these. My preference in this is Google, IBM, and Amazon. These are the three who are providing you enormous, and the major advantage for faculty is these things are given free of cost for us. Only thing is you have to register to your college mail. You register for this today. I will just show you for this dialogue flow also. Please register through your college ID. Only thing that it will ask is a credit card billing. Initially, it will not bill anything. The pricing you can see. You can see here. I can start it for free. When I start it for free, it will ask for activation. In the activation box, there is which I call as a credit card. You give your credit card number, 1 rupee will be deducted from your account just to verify the credit card. And once you start using the facility, that 1 rupee would be given back. Before using all the products of the specific dialogue flow, what you can do is check for the pricing. My sincere request to all faculty is develop one small you call an application, a case study I'm talking about, give it to students and ask them to register for this specific dialogue, and they can really do wonders. And the visual assistance project that we have done, this was actually done from our Google text to speech and speech to text. Both are possible. This is one which I want all of you to look into. The second is, as I said, Amazon. I hope this is also visible to you. So coming to AWS, all of you have to register for this AWS again with your college ID. Only problem with Amazon is you have to be very, very careful with the location. Here I have logged into Mumbai. By any chance, if you miss, if you just go to any other locations, he immediately starts charging in dollars. But yes, the same thing is true with this you call AWS also. You have to give your credit card for registration. Once you give your credit card, they register. Initially, Amazon will not charge anything. It is just for verification. And after you start using the facility, then he start charging. Now, one that is available in our AWS, because if you just see the services that are available, these are the services which are available for faculty. I'm just showing it for faculty only. Please look into the services. I don't think we are doing our research other than this. All our research will be fine-tuned to these only, one or the other. So one what we are having is called as Amazon Poly. This is specifically for text to speech. You can see here. Let me just click here.
Hi, my name is Joanna. I will read any text you type here.
Was it? Hello, ma'am. Was it audible, ma'am?
Yes, audible, audible.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir. We
So,
yeah, we
yes,
heard. Yeah.
you can just see here. I have just typed something like this, and you can change with whose voice you need. Let me just take Matthew.
Hello participants. Hope you are doing well and welcome to my session on deep learning for dialogue systems.
So I can change.
Hello participants. Hope all are doing well and welcome to my session on deep learning for dialogue systems.
You can see here, I can download this or I can save it to my S3. So my request again to all of you is you can just try it out with this Amazon Poly if it is required, download, because what I mean to say here is the initial modules that we are talking about, these things before starting off our research, it is better you understand from some tools. Amazon Poly is another one which is available to you, which is completely free for all faculty. The next is our IBM. So what you can do is I request again all of you to look for IBM academic activity, IBM academic initiative. You can see here. Once I go to IBM academic initiative, it asks for a login IBM. You do not have, you have to create an IBM ID. So again, my request is anybody using this? Because again, I don't know whether it has been covered in your previous sessions, because I again do not repeat. Is anyone having IBM ID? And whatever I am showing is free. There is no charge for these facilities. Please understand. Whoever wants to pursue their research in dialogue system, my request is please register, start using these systems. Then definitely you can go through with their videos and also the content that is available, so that you will understand how people are working. And later on, I will just show at the last with the Python GitHub, where you will get a lot of code, ready-made codes that are available for you to start off working with dialogue systems. Is anybody AWS account here? Amazon Web Service? No? So please have AWS account.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I am having IBM account.
Yeah. Have you used Poly?
Yes, sir, Maulik.
Okay. So good. So next we have AWS account. IBM academic, who is having? Anybody is having IBM? So if not, again, please go to academic IBM initiative. It will take time. That is why I said that it becomes very difficult for me hands-on in real time, because it will take too much of time, and again depends on the bandwidth that you are having. But as you have seen, it is as simple as that. To start off, I am not saying you can do the entire research with this. Definitely not possible, because your contribution is required. But to understand what I am talking about and it starts off, these are the platforms which gives you a very good insight. And IBM, if you can see here, please have a look. This is what is the IBM account that I am having. Again, I have created with my college ID. everything comes free of cost for you. And many of the times I am keep repeating, before using any of these tools in these platforms, please look for pricing, because knowingly or unknowingly, if you start using it, since you have already shared the credit card with them, the amount goes within dollars. They will not ask. But my major preference is on IB, because if you see here, the tools that are given from IBM are much. One is you have language translator, you have your natural language understanding, you have your natural language understanding, and also your text to speech, speech to text, and also the tone at which you're talking about. So if you just see here, the tools that are available with IBM clouds are really, really good. Which, to start off with, as I showed, it is as simple as you can just use these features, give it. Many of the times, if you come to IBM, he gives you a complete JSON file. He gives you the complete JSON file. You can look into that. And now, if you just see what I spoke about, natural language understanding, it says it is free. You can see here, it is free for me. When you are talking about text to speech, it is free. Speech to text, it is free. The same text to speech as you can do it with IBM also. But only thing is, some what do you call setups that you need to do with IBM are a bit more. You can see here, I can just go on for creating. Free is you can go up to 10,000 characters per month. Now, afterwards, he will start charging you. That's it, nothing more. So what you can do is you can limit yourself with the words that he has given for everything, give the process with a starting video. Then he gave what is that you should do. Step by step, he has given it to you. That is why most of the do this as a assignment to our students. And to be frank, as all of us know, and also all of us agree, students' potential is pretty good, because as faculty, we may not find too much time to spend with these tools. Once you give these tools to them and ask them to work, they have that potential, and they come out with very good innovative ideas. And implementation is pretty much easy, because in IBM, most of the things giving it free of cost. At Amazon, yes, he charges a bit more. Now Google also is charging a bit more. That is why I feel IBM is the best currently. The last, we are having this. I want all of you to look into this. Day2, an open source library for end-to-end dialogue systems and chatbots. So this again, I maybe please think that I have given it as a assignment. Whoever is interested, I want all of you. I have shared on the chat. Please go to that specific web. He has given the complete process of generating the dialogue system. So you can see natural language understanding and natural language generation. It first understands and then it gives the generated language. How it should be done step by step, he has given it to you. If time permits, I think if all of you have installed Python, we can start doing it. Definitely, as all of you feel, maybe in another 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it will not be possible to explain. And frankly speaking, there is nothing much to explain, to be frank. you please go through with this, understand step by step. Definitely you will start getting interest in what has been happening. Then immediately start deep diving into it. This is the last deep dive plow. Uh, just have a look with this, and the basis for this is your TensorFlow and Keras. These people have come out with the open source, but most of the APIs and facilities they are using from TensorFlow and Keras only. So what you can do is please have a look with this. For Microsoft Azure is also giving. Let me see if I can, because morning I won't log in. Yeah, because he cannot stop anywhere. Morning I had some problem with this. Yeah, I think now it is there. He says because I haven't used any time, but what I is definitely he will also give the source. Let us see. 1 second. Updates. Code, yeah. Yes, it is here. You can start free. So Microsoft Azure is also providing you. You had to just log in with your account, give all those details, create. Definitely, yes, will ask your what do you call card identification. As I keep telling, they will not charge. Initially, not charge, and as and when you keep using these facilities, they will start charging you. So the last, as I was telling you, the challenges are these: the human machine interface, which is a hot topic, and most of the state of the art technology are based on DML, as all of you know, which requires huge amounts of real data, and it is a fast domain adaptation with scarce data, and your data collection and analysis from unstructured data is a major challenge that we're having. And as I said, these two problems actually given to us from doctors only, which I was sharing. One is for the depression, and the other is for generating. And when we contact industry people, the challenges were still more because whatever the technology that we are talking about, or whatever the infrastructure that we are talking about, it is not easy, because one of my friend he only shared saying that it almost took uh, 1 week for training only. with AWS GPUs. That is the time that it takes to learn and give us the final output. So we need to have a very good GPUs and also the technology that are there. Maybe what we feel is whoever wants to work with these dialogue systems, whatever I just showed, these are the platforms that are available to you free. Start working on that, get to know the facilities available and deep dive into that. These are some of the conclusions that I have. The main highlight that I did was the dialogue system and maybe the tools that are available. Again, I didn't go in depth with everything of mathematics, may not interest many of you. The tools are the which always interest us. Thank you all.